Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast.
Brandon, can I get more water?
Nice water boy reference there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good. So welcome. We are going to be reviewing episode 2 of season 45. Now, I gotta say, this one was I really enjoyed it this time around. Like the first episode was great, but this one I was like, it gave us a lot of cool
I
stuff.
thought it was significantly better than the last episode, but that's because the last 20 minutes, like kind of ruins the episodes in a lot of
Yeah,
ways. Like it just kind of it was a long period of just like hard to watch as a Survivor fan, whereas this episode fully felt like they went back to the roots of what made Survivor great, and it was great.
I agree. I agree. No,
Yeah.
yeah, there were so many like little personal moments. There's one I don't agree with. I feel like that shouldn't be a thing. I might give her LVP just for it. Um,
You messaged me this, and I totally disagree. And I think everyone is on board with
listen,
my.
Tarantino. Listen, Tarantino. You messaged me another thing, and like, it is going to be an interesting thing to discuss because I'm not going to be like adamant about no, no, no. I think there is merit to what you are going to say. We haven't
Yeah,
really discussed it, but um, we need to start with one thing that literally brought me to tears. Not only did we get the recap, but we got a first intro.
it was so great.
I like cried because I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. And then
It's
like
back.
little tear came down. I'm like, it was so nice being able to see all the faces and whatnot and being like, wow, we haven't gotten this of like a full thing that wasn't like released on YouTube
Yeah,
since like, what was it, like 31, 32, around that ballpark?
yeah. It's. I think it was there in 33. I feel like I remember it in Millennials versus Gen X. But it has been a very long time.
Yeah, like, um, and when I heard it and then see the thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, this was like, I mean, now that they have the extra 30 minutes, extra 22 minutes, they were like, okay, now we can finally bring it back.
Yeah, which
Um,
to be fair, they should just have it even on the hour episodes. Like I think it's better to get a minute of that than
yeah,
just an extra minute of something else that's because the thing is like I don't know. It helps like let you know who every single person on the cast is. Like
yeah,
it really does like remind you who everyone is. So that way, you're not just having random moments of like, who is this like 8 episodes into the season, which has happened in a lot of the modern era. Is you get a lot of people who you just forget about because they just get like one confessional every now and then.
yeah. Um, it'd be like that, especially when, well, I mean, like, I don't think, well, everyone got a confessional this episode,
Yeah.
but, um, yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those things like I think and this is just kind of like a thing that's just like American culture has kind of just done is that they just hate the intros to things.
Yeah.
Like they'll make it like 5 seconds long or not even that, like the title card appears for like 3 seconds. Where it used to like kind of like hype you up for the show. It was kind of like and like it's something that got you in the mood, got you in the like it prepared you. It was like the overture right before like a show begins.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we need it. I think it's just so much fun. I think every single Survivor fan has said that that is a positive thing. So there's no need Survivor when you go back to 60 minutes to take this out because it is just a positive for the entire show and the entire fandom loves it. We need to keep it.
I literally cried. I'm not even joking. Like I was like, oh shit, it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I got so hyped. Like
Yeah.
it made me excited for the episode, which to be fair, there are a lot of times I'm not really excited for like at the beginning of the episode. It's maybe somewhere in the episode, maybe I get excited for like a little thing and then it goes away. But like because of that, I really was excited for like the entire episode.
Yeah. And I feel like because especially pretty much every single episode after the first episode kind of starts off the same, where it's like, hey, these this is the tribe that just came back from tribal council. They're kind of like dishing, like, pouring the tea of like what just happened there, and like who
Mhm.
feels betrayed, who this and who that. Which is not a bad thing. I mean, that's naturally what we want to know next. But it's one of the things where the intro just kind of opens up on that high. And we haven't gotten that in a while. Even like the partial, like kind of like intro or the previously on Survivor.
Yeah.
Because like really just went right into it, where it would just show the logo and then boom, just yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, positive change there. Survivor, good job for finally, it took years for them to finally realize why the fans are upset about this change and that now you give it to them and everyone's excited and happy and loving this episode. So it is very important to Survivor for you to realize that we need this, that everyone wants it, and don't take away something that everyone wants.
Exactly. Exactly. No, and I mean like I remember watching a video way, way back when it was Sandra and someone else. I don't remember who. It could have been a panel of people, but I remember Sandra making a point about this where it was like basically the topic came up of like, oh, the intro and stuff, and it being shorter or not being there at all. And she was like, it's like one of those things where it's like, I mean, it's just like what for the to include the intro, it's like a less, less B-roll of stuff, like like a crab coming out of the ocean or a centipede crawling, one less foot shot that Survivor loves,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you obviously want to talk about the foot scene. So let's just go straight into it. I think that it was extremely important, and I think that it was so good for getting to know Dee. Honestly, I feel like she had so much personality from this scene. I think that we are now being foreshadowed that she is probably making the merge, and I bet you she is winning some balance challenges because of her feats. But you
Her
just don't
stuff like that.
you
So,
just
in
don't
case
like
you don't
feats.
know, viewers at home, I hate feet. And so, like how they had like entire like 2 minutes talking about it, I was like, uh, I don't know. Like, yes, it did show personality to D and whatnot, but it's like, it's like one of the things where I couldn't help but like cringe. I'm not, I know I'm not alone with I'm not the only person that doesn't like feed and stuff like that. However, I understand for, I would say like a majority of the population, they either A, don't give a shit, or B, they're like, they have the fetish, like
Yeah, yeah.
Tarantino.
Honestly, she should have been charging people on wiki feeds. Like she needs to get she needs
Okay,
to
good God. Um, okay. But, we did get some good coverage from, I would say, each of the tribes of like, okay, like, like we've learned a lot more about Julia than we did in the prior episode. Like,
Yeah.
kind of like, because I forget even what her first confessional was in the season premiere. But, like this one, she was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'm going to be like the mom of the tribe because there's so many young people. And I'm going to use that to my advantage. And
Yeah.
that's how that giant alliance was made.
Yeah. Her one confessional was about how she's not telling people she's a attorney.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is there's a lot of attorneys, but like only one of them is like actually wanting to say that they're an attorney. Everyone else is lying
Good
about
old
it.
Jake.
Yeah, Jake is the one who's
Trying
like,
to move out of grandma's house.
yeah. So yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode for the Red Tribe, I think in general.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that especially the core four who are now in that major alliance, I think are sitting pretty. And I know it sucks because it's Ryan's number one pick and love interest is not in that alliance. But
I'm like,
for
no.
But for
Bring.
Austin, Drew, Julie, and D, I think it's great for them.
Well, I think the plus is, I mean, like to kind of like go back a little bit before this alliance even start, like Sifu, he was already like gunning trying he was being a little Tony Blockos,
Yeah.
trying to find the idol and everything, and then like not being too shy about it. And then everyone was like, hey, he's looking for it. I think we should you know, do something about that. And and like little did like Austin already had it and whatnot. And it was kind of like interesting to kind of see how things like worked out for him in the sense of like, okay, like the little challenges and how it differs from each tribe, which I think means that there's probably going to be a tribe swap or what they did last season, and like one person goes from tribe to tribe.
Um, yeah, I definitely hope we get an actual tribe swap because I thought that that was a little weird, especially the fact that they all just kind of got an idol uh when swapping. So it was kind of like it felt like they were really trying to force an idol place that works
That's
successfully.
fair.
So I definitely hope we get just a regular tribe swap. Don't just give them idols. I do love what we're getting with the idols this season, where
Oh
it,
yeah.
it feels like we're going back to old school Survivor, where you get clues. Like it's not just find this and there you go. You find it, but it's actually a clue, and then you have to figure out based off a bunch of different things. It's like Micronesia, like that, like when they went to Exile Island, it wasn't just a very simple like just grab it and go.
Yeah.
You had to actually do like a few different things to kind of get there. And it feels like that's what's going on here is but like when Sabia um gets it was a long time of her trying to figure out the tree and everything. But when she
Yeah.
finally gets it, and then she finds that it's encased in wax and can't burn it, I was rolling on the floor laughing.
I was like, they can't just catch a break. Granted, like, Sabia wasn't in danger at all, but
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm surprised. Well, actually, it would have been kind of funny but I would have done this because everyone knew except for, Emily that she had it. So I would have just, during tribal council, just been like, just talking from the back and just like melting it with my torch because that's the only time they have actual fire there. Be
Yeah.
like, yeah, Jeff, and like just not paying too much attention. And he's like, are you gonna mention stuff about that? We don't have fire. This is the only fire I have.
Yeah,
I
everyone
need
else
my
here
vote.
knows. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Um, and
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, oh, she can't even like break it or chip away at it. No, it legit has to be fire
yeah,
or some way to melt it. And I don't think glasses are gonna cut it. Um, they
yeah,
just have to make a fire.
yeah, exactly. Which would be great for every other tribe because every other tribe can have fire at this point, but because they are, the Lulu losers as they've deemed it, it's just that they can't. She's stuck without a vote right now until they win a challenge.
Yeah. Which might be, I don't know, like another big takeaway. I know I'm jumping ahead, but good
Yeah,
gosh, I was like so thrown off. I never seen Jeff just like dig into a tribe that wasn't doing well. He
yeah.
was like, they're already thinking about who to eliminate. Oh, it was a close one. Well, at least between you two. I'm like, Jeff, you're trying to get up there with, Simon Cowell and Gordon Ramsay. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the hell?
We need sassy Jeff. Okay, Jeff has been like trying to be like this nice dad kind of figure for a while, and I think we need to go back to him like saying how it is because we need that honesty of this tribe is not doing good. We shouldn't be like, well, you're doing your best. It's great that you're even out here. Like we
Yeah,
don't need that. We need to say, hey, you need to get your stuff together because clearly it's not working.
yeah. Um, but like during a challenge, I
Yeah.
think is a little different because like, granted, morale is already like you shit on that tribe to
Yeah.
begin with, but for them to be like, oh, dang. Like, during the challenge. I mean, granted, it was kind of far gone anyway,
Yeah.
but it definitely wasn't helping.
Yeah, well, I will say the challenges of the season haven't been great because the Lulu tribe is so behind that it is just like they're not even close. Like it's not even like maybe they can make a comeback in this. It is like that puzzle that Brandon did in this episode. Oh my god, that was such a pitiful performance for someone who is supposed to be the brains of it, which I relate to because I think that if I was on the season, I would have to be on the puzzles, and I don't think I'm a good person. And I just think
Just
that
practice on your phone.
yeah, I know, but like this was a new puzzle, and sometimes it can be like, oh damn, this puzzle just wasn't good for me. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily like would exactly be as bad as Brandon, but they got like one or two pieces in the entire time it took for the other two tribes to
Yeah.
finish.
I will say when they said it's an entirely new puzzle, in the scheme of like, yes, it is like,
Mhm.
the branches and stuff, and you follow the branches.
Yeah,
However, I know it's a similar tree thing, but it did kind of remind me of, well, I mean, fundamentally, it's one of the puzzles that builds off of one another. Like it's
yeah,
one of the ones where you can't like solve here and there and whatnot. You legit have to build it as you go and get the right pieces in that order,
yeah,
which like, fundamentally, when it comes to a lot of different puzzles or challenges and stuff, it's like, okay, what realm does it fit in? Is it like a puzzle where it's like matching, like we saw earlier? Is it a puzzle where, oh, you have to like build as you go, whether it's the fish, whether it's the tree, whether it's this, or oh, is it like the big thing where you don't have to get everything right in order, and it's like just like a jigsaw puzzle that way, or even like a word puzzle where it's word scramble, whatnot.
mhm.
They all have variations of that, and I will admit sometimes, depending on how your brain's wired and like what puzzles you're used to doing, you will be better at some than others.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like Brandon just straight up did not know the puzzle. Like I think what happened was they got him and Sabia. Maybe Sabia's not great at swimming or something, so they were like, "We'll have you be there, have Brandon be the one kind of leading it because he's supposed to be the puzzle guy, as he
Yeah.
said." Um,
I don't
and
know. I
then
mean, I don't buy the she couldn't swim thing because
well,
I,
maybe not as strong as other people. I guess
all
that's
right,
what I'm
that's fair
saying.
because I'm like, I think that's a requirement in the army.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm saying like, it
Yeah,
was probably just other people were like, I'm maybe not as good as puzzle, but I'm better at swimming than I am at puzzles, stuff
that's
like
fair.
that. So they were like, okay, well, let's have Sabia kind of be there as like the second person to try to help, and Brandon can be the one orchestrating because there's usually one person who's kind of orchestrating a lot of stuff on these puzzles. Um, and I just think he just was he was not meant for that. And then Sabia was like kind of waiting a little bit like and then it just never was happening. So she has to kind of start doing it, but she's not like I think I bet you Sean and Emily are probably better at puzzles.
Yeah,
So it kind of was like they were using maybe like their third or fourth best puzzle person, as their
maybe
main
that.
person. Yeah,
Good God, but I mean, like, I feel bad. Brandon felt like a total drama character
yeah,
where he just I know Owen Knight called himself the Charlie Brown of Survivor. I'm like, no, fam, you
yeah,
actually were able to like win some stuff and get third overall in the game. Like, I hate saying about Brandon. I know he probably feels bad about this, but like, damn, like, like every single like opportunity except for not being the first boot, but that's just because someone wanted to quit.
yeah,
Um, it's just like unlucky versus unlucky.
yeah.
Him not being good at the matching thing, and then that, him running out of time. I'm like, bro.
Yeah. He said in his exit interview that Lulu basically knew every time going into a challenge that they weren't winning. Like they would be like, "We got this," and then they would all look around, and was like, "Yeah, we're not doing this, are we?" And like before the challenge even starts, like that was their mentality.
That's not a good one to have.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Um,
But I do think the tribe has gotten stronger now because I will say Brandon 100% was losing them all of these challenges that they've lost.
yes. Yeah, I
So,
mean, like, and the Survivor editors, like, they have like an easy job of doing it too. It's like,
yeah.
you could see how he was like messing up and stuff.
Yeah.
Jeff was commentating on it a few times. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where if they did make a bigger move on, Sabia or Caleb, or if they did get rid of Emily, it would have just been like, well, you're going back next time, and then you're going to have to vote out, Brandon then, or,
Yeah.
you know, keep
Yeah.
going to tribal for
Yeah.
this guy that is dragging you down.
Yeah, it seemed pretty clear, at least for like Sean, I think seemed very adamant that we need to take out Brandon.
He
We
was like,
cannot win.
he was like, what use do we have for you? Like,
Yeah. He brings nothing to the table other than a likability, which, is great for camp life, but like if you want to actually win the game, you can't just keep
that
someone who
can't
you
be
like. Yeah.
that can't be your only thing. You have to
Yeah.
contribute in some way, shape, or form. And thing is, it's like with such a small tribe, because I know like obviously strategy and like taking out big guns and strategic threats early on can be advantageous. However, sometimes like you just gotta put that aside and be like, hey, we can't make the merge if we don't get to the merge. And it's one of those things where and Brandon and Jeff was trying to do the positive spin. Like we got to learn that he wasn't great at basketball and they
Hmm.
made him a water boy.
Yep.
Um and then like, Brandon was like, "Yeah, I'm a water boy." And it's like, y'all have a watering well. It's like it's like you know, it was like it was kind of sad to watch. It was
Yeah.
weird because he got so much coverage going into it
Yeah.
that and it wasn't even like bad coverage either. It was just like he seemed like a interesting dude.
Yeah.
And then like for him to be like the second boot and stuff, and like for him, some
Yeah.
people calling him the worst Survivor contestant ever.
Uh-huh.
And I mean like
It I mean,
it's he's definitely up there.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Um
I think he's by far the worst challenge performer we have ever seen. The Zach Wurzenberger got voted out for being bad at that one puzzle, but he was actually competing in that puzzle, whereas Brandon like legit never was able to get anywhere close to competing in these
no.
puzzles. So I think by far he showed that he is the worst challenge performer we've ever seen on Survivor.
Well,
Which, unfortunate. I mean, hey, that's a title though. He can go down in history with that title, I think, because it's going to be hard to beat.
it's gonna be hard to forget
Yeah.
the Lulu tribe.
Yeah, yeah.
But
They're not a great survivor tribe, but they're a great entertainment tribe.
yeah,
They
it
are
is.
good at giving us entertainment.
I do think moving forward, and I'll even bring it up because you did mention, or like you did mention, you thinking someone is probably the winner. I'm guessing you think it's Emily.
I do. This episode to me is how I'd imagine they would edit a winner if Emily was winning the season. By
Yeah,
giving her a first episode where it seems like she's abrasive, and then the next episode let her have a character growth and change, so that way when she moves forward into the season, she is now like an evolved player, a changed player. She's clearly got now a secret kind of alliance with Caleb that I don't think anyone else on the tribe knows about. Um,
yeah.
and if they go again, Sabia doesn't have a vote. And we got kind of a little thing in the next episode, I believe, right? Where it wasn't Caleb trying to say like, let's get rid of Sabia, or was it Sabia trying to get rid of Caleb?
It's tough for
I
me. I
I
don't
I
remember.
I remember it's one of them wanted to get rid of the other, which is great for Emily because Emily has built trust now with both of them by giving the shot in the dark to Sabia, which
Yeah,
by the way, didn't even know that was possible. I didn't think you could exchange that. I thought that was like you only you can use this, so why I didn't know that you could even like give it to other people.
I thought it was more so to hold on to as opposed to like,
Uh-huh.
hey, here's a free gift.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it exchanged hands. I think if you're allowed to exchange and give it to someone, that counts. Because I know that there were some advantages that like literally say you can't give this to other people.
Yeah,
So the fact that she is able to give it to someone means that someone else could maybe play it.
maybe. I mean, like, Shot in the Dark is always. I
I
mean, it's
I think it's
obviously
I
a
think it's
last ditch
something.
effort,
Yeah, well,
but
I think it's something that the producers haven't even like thought of for doing that. And I think if someone played it and they thought it would be great TV, they would do it. But if they thought it would be bad TV, they would say no. I think it's one of those where it's like really gonna be up to how it's playing out.
that's fair. That's fair.
Uh,
No, I think no, I think Emily definitely had a much better episode. And
mhm.
like, she was like, okay, I kind of got lucky in the fact of like the heat's on Brandon and then we had someone quit. It's like one of the things where it's like you dodge a bullet and then you're like, maybe I should change up some things.
Yeah.
It was a lot of growth for her and like, she goes down that track. Yeah, I do see there potentially being some winner equity there. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say I don't feel like I'm gonna call her as my like winner pick or anything like that. But I'm like, this was a good episode for her moving forward.
Yeah,
Um,
I am. I mean, I think the Matt chat is alive, Ryan. I think it's alive. I think Emily is secret I think they threw us off the trail by putting three people that we thought would not win in the beginning of episode 1 to make us forget about the Matt chat. And then in the next episode which also by the way, I don't know if you know this, but Emily only applied to Survivor because she was so upset that Gabler won. She wanted to be a better winner than Gabler. How hilarious would it be if she ends up being having a winner edit similar to a Gabler where terrible first episode, you don't think she could ever win because of like her personality or who she is, and then for her to go out and win just like Gabler, I think would be so funny.
I don't think I think more so, but like socially,
Uh-huh.
more so like a Chris Darty.
Uh-huh.
Because like, he botched that challenge, but like they didn't vote him off. And for me, it's like, well, she definitely botched her social game in the beginning. So much so that they were thinking about, voting her out as opposed to Brandon,
Yeah.
who was like, they were thinking it. They weren't going to go through with it, but they were like,
Yeah.
morale.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think it's more that now. Obviously, we're only 2 episodes in.
Hmm.
Who knows where
Yeah.
how everything will
Yeah.
pan out.
We have to remember she has a winner quote in the premiere, Emily. She has a winner quote in the premiere, and she has gotten the story arc of what could potentially be a winner story. I'm just saying, she's.
I
I was literally like watching that whole. It was like an 8 minute segment they gave to like her character arc in this episode, and during it, I just was like, is Emily winning this? No way. No way Emily's winning. I think she's winning this. I think but she can't win. Oh my god, she's winning this. Like I was going like it just reminded me so much of the Gabler of even way back then. There was like a little ounce of like, oh, it's kind of interesting that they're showing us like this good side of Gabler when they should be showing us like this kooky, crazy, like thing that you'd imagine you'd get from Gabler. And we kind of didn't get too much of it this episode, actually. It felt like they were really trying to show more of the positives of Emily, which is I don't think anyone expected to show. I thought we were just going to get a pure
who
villain here from Emily, but it really felt like they were really trying to show us that actually Emily's a great person and you should kind of be rooting for Emily here.
yeah, I mean, like I said, even though I messaged Chris or not Chris. I'm messing up my D. I messaged Joe and was like, gave him the middle finger for suggesting it, and then I was like, no, it is a sound merit theory. I do feel like the Matt theory, it's just like stop doing that.
Yeah.
I
I
even
agree. I agree. I don't think that I think they should have not done it this season, but I do think that it might still be present.
if it is, I'm like, I have to like yell at them because I'm
Yeah.
like, did really? There
Yeah.
was like three less people that spoke on the mat, and then you did this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
I bet they'll say, well, actually, Jeff didn't speak to her directly. She interjected. That's going to be probably their like way, but like that's still talking to Jeff. She still talked to him. There was still a little bit of like talking there. Like
Yeah,
that counts.
it does. Um, the fans know. We see
Yeah.
through that. Um,
Yeah.
but other than that, let's see, Blue Tribe definitely seems like they pulled in Brando, the
Yeah.
ladies, the September babies pulled in Brando.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
what his.
there's like a lot of connection. It feels like everyone is kind of in alliance except for like a Katora and Bruce. Like they're the only ones who are actually not in alliance together, and then everyone
Yeah,
else feels like they are kind of somehow getting connected in some way, shape, or form. So
yeah,
because even the guys are also potentially working with Kelly, so we're kind of actually looking at Kelly Brando being in the middle, and then
yeah.
you got Bruce and Jake kind of on this side, and then you got Katora and Kendra on this side, and then it just depends how those two kind of want to work together, or if they even want to work together. They might have their own motives still.
I mean that is fair, and we don't know until they go to tribal or I don't think that anything will really come of Jake passing out because that was something that was in the preview.
Yeah,
I'm someone where it's like it wasn't built up as scary as some of their other ones,
yeah. Well,
and
also,
usually they keep that hidden who it
yeah,
is.
yeah. I don't know if you want to hear this, but they did also reveal someone who is guaranteed to make the Murgatory and probably the one flipping on that vote in a preview. Um, and that
Is it
is
Jake?
it is Jake.
Okay, because I was always like, when you told me that, I was like, I don't want to know, but at the same time, I kind of figured that because
Yeah,
I'm on a Survivor like group chat or not group chat, group page on Facebook. Odds are I'm probably gonna run across it anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So
People have been pointing it out because he's in a promo with no buff and talking about wanting to flip. So,
yeah,
and he has a beard too. So it's not like early beginning confessional. It's like he is he is
it's
very much in the game.
they will send people on cruises and stuff like that to avoid spoilers and stuff.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, hey, because what they know the hardcore Survivor fans are going to look into that stuff. Like
Yeah.
when I'm looking at the trailers, even when I'm doing my like little draft, I'm like, okay, are they in this scene? These people are standing together. Does that mean they make it further?
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
like that.
So some of
Like,
these previews that have been showing challenges from for the episode 2 or 3 before even episode 1 aired. So people already knew like who wasn't going home in like the first couple episodes based off of that. So
I mean, that's how the whole like Jackson Fox thing became like,
yeah.
you know, because they could have just done the whole just like first challenge they did in the beginning, but they were like, no, we're gonna do stuff, and we see, Romeo, and we see what's her name?
Claire was it Claire? Was
No, no,
that
no. This
oh
was 42.
42. Oh, I can't remember who was
Lynn,
sitting at.
old person name. They made fun of it. Marianne, and when the mergatory happened, she was the mergatory boot.
Oh man,
Lydia.
Lydia, yeah.
Yeah, Lydia. Um, why was I bringing that up?
I don't know, you
Oh
just
yeah,
wanted to
Romeo
say
and Lydia were
yeah.
sitting out. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to say.
Yeah. But yeah, I was enjoying the Blue Tribe this go. I love Bruce. I'm actually
Same.
I'm super upset that he got medevac last season now because he would have been so great to see with Carolyn and Jam
Here,
Jam.
I feel like that. I mean, move over, Carson. That would have been the Tika 3. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah, 100%. Like I really did not expect to see get a character out of Bruce. I thought we were just getting, the old man kind of
The fun
character.
uncle.
I don't even know if I was expecting a fun uncle. I thought I was just expecting just the authoritative kind of, maybe even grumpy kind of,
No, I never
older
got
guy.
grumpy from him. I got like, or at like maybe not the fun
Well,
uncle,
it's
but
it's
like
it's more
the
like the curmudgeon. I guess the curmudgeon is what you go. Whereas like maybe they're fun in like their normal life, but like being around a bunch of younger people kind of like makes them go like, because he even talked about like how he wants to tell them, like I do the stuff like do this first, but he's trying not to because he's trying to be the fun uncle.
yeah.
Like clearly he's trying to be that, and it's working. But I think the Bruce that is actually in there is wanting to be more of that curmudgeon that is trying to say something, but he recognizes that that's not good, which most of the people who go into that archetype either know but just refuse to actually listen to it. So,
Well, I mean,
um,
like, I think it's one of the things where because he is a father and stuff, like,
yeah,
and I mean, like, the dude is constantly making that. Like, I don't think that's not a facade or anything.
yeah.
Like, that's not him. It's definitely it does seem 100% Bruce.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I
But
don't know.
it
It seems like his confessionals and him interacting with everyone. It feels like there's two different Bruces. It feels like you got the more like this is actually my inner thoughts Bruce and this is what I actually want. And then when you actually see him interacting with everyone, it's the
do the
oh my gosh,
robot,
bitch, doing the
do the
robot
robot.
going
Yeah.
up and down on the boats like like when Katoro was like, who is this guy? I was also kind of like, wow, I never would have expected to see Bruce doing that pregame.
That's fair. That's fair. Um, Speaking of the boat, so we didn't get a straight up reward challenge, and we'll get to the like rewards later. Because I noticed something interesting with that. But
Mhm.
like, we got the same kind of like, one where it's like, oh, one representative from each tribe go off to an island, and then they do a little thing where they could potentially win an advantage. And the ones chosen were, as we know, Brandon, Drew, and then Bruce. And like the thing is like, oh, you have 3 minutes to solve this one puzzle. Um, and like they did get to like kind of like see what it would be and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know, like obviously Drew knew what he was doing and was able to do it. But like
Yeah.
for me, when I heard 3 minutes, I'm like, oh, would that be enough time? Or at least for me, because like you're going through so
Mhm.
many of those little blocks. And then like if you make a mistake or if you did what Brandon did and accidentally match to, and if you
Yeah.
were doing like Drew's strategy, because Drew was just like throwing them as they go, as
Yeah.
like match, don't eat on the board. Like,
Yeah.
there was room for error for that.
Yeah. Oh, you even see with Drew is that he throws something off and then realize, like, wait a second, I don't think that was a match, and then went back and grabbed them.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah. I think I mean yeah, this really was like I think depending on your position in the game, I think Brandon did need to do it. Obviously, he was
yeah.
a target, so he kind of had to do it because if he does get the safety without power, I mean, he
He's guaranteed
survives.
one more night at least.
Yeah, exactly. And Drew, I mean, he has told us that he is the smartest person to play this game. He told us that at the very first confessional of the season. So of
Yeah.
course he's going to try the puzzle challenge that gives you something. Um,
Yeah.
and then obviously I think it's good for Bruce not to do it because it's a currently a very fine line of who's got the power on that tribe, and it is not worth it. He even kind of said he's not good at puzzles. Why would he risk it if it's something that's not in his wheelhouse?
Yeah. I will say sometimes I think I'm spoiled with modern technology because, like, it's more suspicious if you don't come back with anything.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the interesting one. Unless you won the advantage, you come back with nothing, which can be very sus because it's like picks like what we said when we were kids, picks or it didn't happen. It's like you need kind of some proof that you messed up, especially that
Yeah.
earlier on where there's not as many opportunities to get that kind of like parchment with that text on it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we can now talk about yeah, Drew and Brandon definitely go back and have, the whole stories about it. They're both very like they tell the truth. They both don't lie about anything.
Yeah.
Which I think is great for Drew. I do wonder if Brandon should have said like I wonder if he should have made up a lie and then just not shown them anything because I mean obviously we know now with a little bit of like the after the fact that he would have gone home anyways, but, like, for him to be able to say, like, "Oh, I got an advantage that allows me to, be safe for this next tribal council," something like that, or "I get to steal a vote," like, just something that kinda makes it so that people don't maybe target him for that next vote, but I also know that he said that he thought that he was super tight with Caleb, Sabia, and Sean, and thought
Evidently.
they were in an alliance. Like he thought they were all in an alliance together, and it was just an easy vote to take out Emily, which is why he decided to do it because he thought there's no way that he goes home.
Well, I mean, when it comes to that, I think it's also, well, granted, if you feel like you trust the people, then obviously you would want to tell them the truth. However, I think that plays into his lack of social awareness when it came to that.
Yeah,
Like if I'm sometimes I'll do a thing like I was playing BS yesterday in the break room with some people, and then there's fake lying badly. And especially with people that don't know how you play and stuff, pretend to be a bad liar. So they
uh-huh.
actually think, "Oh, wait, he actually does." So you're telling the truth, but you're doing it in a way that sounds like you're trying to hide something. So that way, I mean, like, just good strategy, make them think you're a bad liar.
Yeah,
Um, always fake your tells, things like that. You know, you don't have to have a great poker face sometimes. You just have to be good at making them think what you want them to think.
hmm yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Let's see. What else? I will say, J Maya did have a good thing in this episode. I do want to say
Yeah,
that's her trying to decipher the thing on the tribe flag and all the numbers coming forward in front of her. I thought that was,
yeah.
I did thought that was super funny.
I I enjoyed it. I mean, like, because she is a super nerd and stuff like that. One of her songs is like, about doing crossword puzzle and like has all these like little like, think what's a 5 letter word for you and me, and stuff like that. I guess this could be my wistful thinking, but maybe J Maya will be the Lauren Harp of this season, where she's not going to get too much screen time prior because lack of tribal councils and like some of the there's some bigger personalities and stuff that are kind of like eating the screen time a little bit. But maybe as it starts to dwindle more, we'll see more of her. Yeah. Um, this could be me just like grasping at straws, but I don't think
Yeah,
no, I think it was a great one to have. It wasn't just like a confessional that was about nothing.
yeah.
Or I'd say it even gave more merit than Dee's look at my long big toe. It
No,
doesn't sound like that at all, but like
I definitely think the toe thing was better, but
no,
to each their toe.
that was bad.
Wow, I got a joke credit or like calling me out for my terrible half pun.
But see, that's why it failed. It was a half
Yeah.
pun. But, I don't know, like, yeah, J Maya, for those who didn't watch any of the 45 coverage we've done, she is my survivor crush slash celebrity crush right now. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's
it
clearly
was
either.
also her birthday yesterday.
Oh,
Fun
happy
fact.
birthday, J Maya.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Um, but yeah, I do think I do
Maybe
think
she can join the oh wait, it's October.
yeah,
By
yeah,
then.
no September baby alliance for her. Yeah, I mean it's very clearly either going to be her or Sifu if this tribe goes. I think it would be crazy to see any of that majority four going. And I think that if they go in the next like two tribal councils, you definitely take out J Maya because you keep Sifu for
No.
strength.
But you already still have strength with Austin. And
Yeah, but why take out your why give yourself a bigger chance of potentially going again where you could just take out J Maya and you're guaranteed to have a bunch of strength still.
you do realize how much puzzles and dexterity and stuff like that
Yeah, but
play into,
they got Drew. Drew is crazy
but
good at all these
they already
puzzles.
got this. It's like you also have Austin when it
Yeah.
comes to the strength. It's like one of
And
those
he's
things
good
where
at
it's like,
puzzles. He's also said that he actually said that in the pregame that he thinks his physical strength is actually his weakest skill. He actually thinks that everything else is stronger, but he knows everyone's going to look at him and just assume he's this physical guy.
that could just be his coach Wade talking.
Oh no, Austin's not a Coach Wade. Sifu's a Coach Wade.
No, that's what I was talking about,
Yeah.
Coach Wade. But it's like, look, it's. I think you're doing this also to irritate me as well. Like, I know that she's not in a great position if she's not in that core four. However, I think it's like, let's let's twist the knife in Ryan's side.
Maybe I all I'm saying is that in our draft, you 100% should have chosen Austin and then J Miles. Because
I
I
went
think
with my heart.
yeah, and sometimes your heart should not be first.
I understand this. I have real world experience where that has not panned out for me. However, you know, I was like, there was just I had a gut feeling and I felt like I should have just I felt like I needed to do it.
Okay, well, I hope for your sake that she at least makes jury.
Same with you and Kelly.
Yeah. Kelly has also been pretty quiet, but I feel like she's just in such a good spot that I don't actually see her going out pre-merge because,
That's fair.
yeah, I think the
Well, I mean, she's
tribes.
the swing right now,
She's the
so
swing on a strong tribe that seems to be gelling well together for the most part, besides Katora, Bruce. But that's also kind of one side. That just seems like Katora is just kind of saying that she doesn't like Bruce, but so it's pretty one sided there. So yeah,
well, I mean, I think it's one of the things where Bruce always seems on, and I actually had this like conversation with someone about people who are always on just in general, where sometimes it can be a taxing, especially when you're out there hardly getting any sleep.
yeah,
You're not as well nourished. You're tired physically, mentally, from everything. And then like if someone has all this high energy, I mean, we saw with Marianne and Jonathan Young, it was like, uh, like sometimes the high energy can be a lot to be around, especially if you yourself don't have much energy.
yeah,
Um, so I think part of that played into it. I think also when you have this, strong alliance, or because Katora has this like, the September baby alliance, it's something where it's like, all right, well, who are we targeting out of the two? And it's like sometimes it's like, well, I think she gets more of a meat shield after the attorney if it's like at the emerge with Jake as opposed to Bruce. Because like, it's like one of those things where I wouldn't say meat shield, strategy shield. Basically, like, because she can play that attorney card later at Mergatory or Merge, that could always be the thing, because right now everyone kind of knows things and the lines are already kind of divided, at least between Katura and Bruce's side. Whereas when it comes to Merge or Mergatory, it's more playable and that card could be used then. Because
uh,
like if Jake goes home, it's like, oh well, I can't use that attorney thing that I already set up and whatnot. But like if it's the mergatory stuff like that, if it's a thing that can get you one step closer to the jury phase, like, hey, he's an attorney. We may not be able to trust him. I mean, sometimes you play that card.
Yeah.
Um, any reason to any reason to put a target on someone's back during that point in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do wonder what would happen if she tries to make an early move against Bruce. Because I do think Bruce has a lot of likability to a lot of people. And especially if it happens at Murgatory. Even if she's successful in taking out Bruce somehow, I just feel like that would make her such a huge target. Um, like
Like we,
it would make me feel like she's going to be like in a Shan archetype where she controls power, but like somewhere in the middle of the game, they just got to take her out because why would you not make a move against her because she's trying to run the game?
yeah. Also, I think, and we talked about this prior in our preseason stuff. It's like I think if you don't bring Bruce to the merge, you're gonna get a lot of shit.
Yeah, yeah, people are not gonna like it, especially now that people are also seeing Bruce's personality for like the first time because we don't really see his personality in the last season because he had
Yeah,
two confessionals and it was mostly just like let's go, like it was just
yeah,
stuff like that. So now that we get to see him, I think more, I think yeah, you just can't be making a move against him until like late in the game.
yeah. Um, yeah, so we'll see how that all plays out. But
Yeah.
no, I feel like with the extra 20 minutes and stuff, we've been getting some good coverage all around.
Yep.
One thing I did want to touch on, this is just something that I noticed, but for the reward for the immunity challenge, it included a fishing manual, which I don't think they've ever done that before.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Which it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, don't get me wrong, the Hawaiian sling is great, and like if you're a fan of Survivor, in theory how to work that at least.
Yeah.
But for some of the finer things of like, well, I mean, like, yeah, you can have fishing gear, but if you don't know what you're doing, you might not have as much success. So I feel like having a guide that probably also has like tips and tricks as well really gives the Reba tribe a huge advantage because if you're getting that protein, you're able to be full. It's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is what happens whenever a tribe starts kind of getting decimated, like Lulu is. The other tribes are getting fuel, they're getting ways to provide for themselves besides just the regular, like coconuts or whatever. Um, and sometimes it can just create a steamroll situation where it just two tribes are just actually doing pretty fine because they're eating well and the other tribe's not eating well, they don't have
Yeah.
fire, they're already, I think it's very clear that tribes were just stacked kind of unbalanced for this tribe, so they were already at a big disadvantage and now you're adding all this other stuff on top of it. It's they got rid of their weakest member, but still, it might still be a little too little, too late.
Yeah. We'll have to see with the because with the potential tribe swap stuff like that, I feel also one thing as we were talking that I realized when it was like, oh, like not well stacked, whatnot. Now, granted, we didn't know that Brandon was going to be so horrendous in
Yeah,
challenges. However, because a lot of the editing was showing Brandon, it's like one of the things where because they were looking at that, it's like, well, how is the rest of the tribe performing?
yeah. I will say Emily got through that balance beam very quickly. Like I was actually surprised. She kind of just like just walked through it like no problem.
Yeah, this is why you don't need weird feet in order to do it. It was a stupid, stupid confessional.
No, no, great confessional because when we get to just you have to stand there for so long, she's no way she steps down. uh yeah, but yeah, it is definitely going to be interesting next episode to see how well Lulu does in challenges because I think that they probably gain like 20 attribute points by taking out Brandon here in terms
Like,
of their average skill.
it definitely raises morale a little bit too. I know like morale is low, but it's like, okay, so we got rid of our challenge problem.
Mhm.
So like in theory, things should be better. It's still like, they still need the win in order to get them to they need the win personally, so that way they can boost their morale more and like validate the positive energy they're trying to bring to it.
Yeah.
None of this like looking around being like, oh yeah, we're not winning this. Because
Yeah.
like as soon as you do that,
Yeah.
you're hosed.
Yeah,
You're screwed.
which is what they've been doing. So it's so yeah, they definitely need to get something. Even if it's like I don't know if they're doing a reward challenge next week. I think I saw like in the TV thing that they have for next week that I think there's 2 challenges. So
Okay.
they need to at least win that reward challenge because they need to if they want to have any chance of winning these challenges, they need to get some kind of victory going on.
Yeah.
Because it is pretty hard to go a whole week without winning anything on Survivor and have any positive mental state.
Yeah. Because we're getting to that point where yeah, it's gonna be a week. Other than that, oh, Jeff's new rule, or I wouldn't say new rule, it's one that he brought back about sitting out.
Yeah,
Some people were saying it was in response to Claire from last season.
yeah,
Your thoughts on that?
yeah. I'm interested to see how this goes because I do. I mean, I think I like it. I thought there was some interesting strategy now is like Sifu sat out of the challenge this week. And I don't think he would have sat out if this rule wasn't there. I think that he sat out because he's trying. I think they're trying to make sure to stack the deck in a way where it's not
Yeah,
like you're sending out your weakest people and then suddenly you gotta send out 2 weak players next time, but now it's like, oh wait, now that next challenge might actually lose like really good people for that certain challenge. So it's like, okay, Sifu, you're really strong. This challenge might not be the greatest challenge for you, but you still do good. But we'll sit you out so that way next week we can maybe sit out someone who maybe a J Miter or Julie, like someone like that.
you just had to say Jay Maya first, even.
I went alphabetically. uh
Jay Maya's first name is Janani, so you did not.
it's Janani compared to Julie.
Oh wait, fuck, I'm stupid. I did not get much sleep last night.
All good, all good. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much everything that we need to talk about. I mean, Brando wore the buff like a girl for the what they usually do for the swimming challenges. So I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to talk about that, but
I
uh
mean, just an aesthetic thing. Like, I don't think there's any,
yeah.
like, you know,
Definitely would have been a secret scene if this was a
yeah.
60-minute episode, but we got
I mean, for
it.
the scrawny gents, like, you know, they can totally rock that.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it would be harder for someone like Jonathan Young to be like, oh yeah, he may be able to get it over like maybe
maybe he just gets it to like the top of his shoulders, honestly.
no, I don't even think that. I think maybe he can wear it like kind of like a weird sash
Yeah,
or like where it's just kind of like it, but no, you need to have like a, I don't want to say petite. You have to have like a you have to have like a narrower frame in
yeah,
order for that to work. And I mean, like, I don't know, like I think that is an iconic look for a lot of women that we see on the on Survivor.
uh-huh,
Because usually there's only so many ways you can wear a buff, and we've
yeah,
seen some people try it in different manners. Some people put them in their pocket. We were talking about Coach Wade. You know, like he would use it as like a pocket square. We of course have good old Bob Crowley
hmm,
getting the thing, making it into a bow tie. Probably my
yep,
favorite unique way of doing it, you know. But for the most part, people either like we just wear it as like a bandana thing around their
yeah,
neck or around their, you know, around their wrists, something like that.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a little thing. Let's get into confessionals here. Okay, so still at the leaderboards for confessionals, we have Sabia. This says 15, but I'm seeing that a note says that she actually had one more this episode. So she actually has 16 confessionals total.
Pretty good.
Um, yeah, yeah. And then I will say also Brandon, he is out, but I'll still say he got 13 confessionals. So still getting double digits, even though being a second boost. So
Not too shabby.
not too bad. And then Emily also has 13 confessionals, and she's still in the game, obviously. And then we got third place. We got Drew with 10 confessionals. He had a whopping 8 confessionals this episode. So
It was a big episode for him.
yeah, I think he skyrocketed a bit on my potential winner candidates as well.
Agreed.
And then next up we got Caleb at 7 confessionals. And then we got a big tie here with 6 between Bruce, Jake, and Katora. And then we got an even bigger tie here now at 5 confessionals between Austin, Brando, Kelly, Kendra, and Sean. So 5 people tied at 5. Interesting. And then we got another tie here with 4 confessionals. We got D at 4 and Sifu at 4. And then we got Julie at 3 and Maya at 2. Listen,
Lauren Harpet it.
Man, I think that's even. I think Lauren got a decent for a little bit and then fell off.
Well, she also went to tribal council her first time and had an advantage, and there was like a big thing about her, having to sacrifice her vote in order to activate the advantage. So like, there was reason why she had more confessionals in her pilot episode.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I feel like if J Maya makes it deep into this game, I would say she should get a few more confessionals.
Yes, should. I mean, she got a great one though.
Yeah. She's doing a Courtney Yates. Truly, she's like from Heroes versus Villains. Like she has little confessionals, but she's making them work.
Yes, exactly. All right, so MVP, LVP. MVP, I am going to give to Drew, since we talked about it. I feel like he's someone where I know the preview is one thing that's separate from the episode itself, but like I feel like for him, he just kind of won on every single side. Even when it came to winning the challenge, his team won first. So like I feel like he's just in like the best position from that point.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I am going to give it to Emily because I was joking last week about her potentially being a winner, and this episode has now changed my thought of joking it into being reality. And yeah, I think she did a lot of great things to guarantee that she stays here and Brandon goes home. So I do think that she deserves it.
There's merit to that. I'm not going to be like, no, you're wrong, Joe. No, I think there's merit. Yeah. Especially because it looks so bleak first episode for her.
Yeah, exactly. And before you say D, I'm going to say Brandon just because he literally did nothing but fail. So I gotta give it to him.
I'm gonna give some love to the water boy. So yes, I'm gonna stick by my word and say D.
Can't wait for that big toe energy to come back and bite you.
I hope not. I hope not. Anywho.
Okay. Well, that does it here for this episode of the Day After podcast.
I hope you all enjoyed. Let us know down below what are you thinking of the season so far? Who are some of your faces or who are some of your faces? Who are some of your favorites? And this season is going pretty good. I'm excited to see how everything plays out. A little nervous too. And Survivor editors, give J Maya more screen time. I don't know if you're watching this. You're probably not, but do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Share this video to the people editing. Hunt them down. I'm sure they're on IMDb.
You've heard it here first, folks. The cry of love from Ryan to give J Maya proper
screen time.
Yeah.
I feel like she would appreciate it too. It's not just fully for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have a theory on why they're not giving her a lot of screen time, but I don't know well enough to maybe
What
say.
is your theory?
Um, that my theory is that she maybe went on the show to increase her fame, for being a singer-songwriter, and I know that Survivor doesn't like it when people do that, and often will give them less screen time because they're afraid that maybe a lot of their confessionals is constantly talking about their songs or their background or like, "This is what I do at this thing," and then they're doing that too much that kinda maybe can put them off to wanting to put them on screen a bunch.
Alright.
Yeah,
But
I don't know if you ever watched Nathan For You, but literally they had an episode about reality TV and like people were doing that, and
yeah,
normally they cut that stuff, but Nathan Fielder thought it was funny, so he showed all of them doing that stuff.
yeah, I don't know. I've seen all the Nathan for Yous. It's been a while though,
Yeah.
but all right. Well, hope you guys have an awesome week. And we'll see you next time.
Okay. Yeah. See you in the next one.
Peace.